Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Still Sebastian, our professional of the year. Excited to have him, the founder and creator of Nobelia.org, the way of impeccability and moreness and Project Life Change programs. He's an author, he's a poet, he's just an amazing soul. And we're going to talk today about his programs, his organization, and how he's helping so many people to shift and live. Hi, how would you say that better? Because you know yourself best. You're here why?
Sorry, still say that again. My sound just chopped off for that last part of what you said. Please say it again.
I said, well, you know yourself best. I tried talking about you and hyping you up because there's so much to you. You're helping people live, helping people shift, helping people change. But how would you describe yourself?
Yes. Now this is a key point. I was really thinking about this beforehand, and it's what I do every day. And yes, you say, how do I describe myself? Well, as somebody who shares. That's mainly what I do. I share. I have a lot to share. And most importantly, when we hear and say, oh, somebody's sharing, or they're doing this, or they're running life change and self-change programs, writing books, that puts a box around the idea of what they do. What I do is share moreness.
Yes.
And yes, moreness. A lot of people say, oh, there's not a word. Well, it is.
It is a word. It is your word. Absolutely. It's
Exactly. Well, not only that, but if you actually follow English, you can take any word and add a suffix to it and make it a word, right? So moreness is absolutely this, but it doesn't matter. Do you understand what I mean by moreness? That's the important point.
Absolutely.
You do. And that's why I'm so excited to be here, because you, Jill, you do understand what I mean by moreness. You are a practitioner of moreness as I see it.
You see, and I never even knew that. I just love life. I'm a happy person. I love getting to talk to exciting people who want the best for everyone.
Exactly.
And you are.
Exactly. Energy and excitement. That's moreness. And the thrill of living, the thrill of being, the thrill of connecting, the thrill of interacting, the thrill of learning and growing and putting on it. That's moreness, right? It's all moreness. Now, also, of course, there's more to moreness. There's always more to moreness. That's the magic of moreness. If I said to you, Jill, I've got a spaceship and I'm going to go out into space and we're going to go and explore the unknown. Would you like to come with? You say, unknown. Well, unknown's kind of scary. I'm not so sure. But if I said, oh, we're going to go explore moreness, you say, yeah, sign me up. I'm on board. I want to go.
I'm in. Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's just a way of looking at things, at the world, at life. When I see life as unknown, as scary, as challenging, of course there's stuff out there, but there's also moreness, right? And there's more moreness than there is lessness. That's why our world functions and our world operates. That's why there's life. There's more moreness than lessness. Right? So we just have to tap into it and focus onto it. And moreness is also an alternative paradigm. This is very, very, very important to connect to. It's an alternative paradigm. This is absolutely essential, at least my moreness, yes, that I'm sharing. And in this alternative paradigm, when we take our typical paradigm, the superiority paradigm, it's all about hierarchy and dominance and being better, winning and all of the stuff, comparison and competitiveness. Moreness doesn't have to have that. We can just share and enjoy and thrill in and delight in the beingness of others. I'm not competing with you. This just it's not even in my mind. It's just, but sadly, in the superiority paradigm, this is always what people are doing. And boy, does it just take all your energy and sap you and drain you and waste your time and energy.
It out of us, yes.
Exactly. It's not, you don't get anything out of it, right? So what do you get out of it? Nothing. But you understand this. So moreness paradigm is about, let's do things differently, people. Let's find other ways in which to relate, interact, connect, be, etc. Yes? Why not?
I'm ready to take that challenge with you. And how do we contact you? We got to remind everyone. Please tell us your website.
Exactly. So you asked me, who am I? I am somebody who very much is wanting to share that we can do things differently. There are viable, feasible, moreness alternatives. That's it.
Mhm.
I mean, behind me, I'm not just saying this because it's a nice idea. I have this whole mind map behind me, which we are going to get into. This is what I'm excited about. We are going, this is the detail of exactly and precisely how you can practically apply it. I don't care about theory and ideas and hypotheses. And no, must be practical. Not practical, I'm wasting my time. This
Nope.
is part of my Monas project. My Monas, practical, practical, practical. Yes, because if you can't use it, what's the point?
Exactly. What is the point?
Exactly. The point is joy.
Oh, happy, happy, joy, joy. It's
You
so
asked what's the point?
yeah.
It may have been somewhat rhetorical question, but that's the answer for me. Joy. Everything, if what you're learning, what you're growing, doesn't in some way lead ultimately to joy, then you're wasting your time. Yes. Now, you don't want your joy to be hollow either, and
Nope.
you don't want to have vulnerable joy. You don't want to be in a
Mm-hmm.
bubble. Yes. So your joy has got to have support. It's got to have foundation. It's got to be solid. Yes. Independence of being, in other words, where you truly have independence of being. And I don't mean independence like financial independence. Yes, that might be a part or not, but that's not independence of being means you're not affected by things like other people's opinions, stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a huge amount that goes into independence of being, as I feel you are aware, because you interview many people, right? You celebrity interviewer. That's what you do, yes?
I just love people and I talk to people and I get so much from it. I do.
Yes,
And you know, it's about you, but you make it about everyone. That's what you do so well. I mean, you're here and teaching so many people to shift to live the best life they can. And
exactly.
I commend you on this. Nobelia.org, by the way, because he's just too modest to talk about himself. So I have to every now and then. Nobelia.org. And all you do, and he's all over every social media platform out there. Join his Facebook group, subscribe there. And of course,
Exactly.
as an author, I mean, you just are on fire. And thank you for finding me,
Yes,
by the way,
yes,
on Facebook. I see that you promoted us. So we are excited to have you here. Thank
yes.
you. What did you
If
want
you
to
want to
talk about?
find me on Facebook, by the
Yeah.
way, for those of you who I love questions. Truly, I absolutely and I thrive on questions. Questions, earnest questions, especially. Be careful of asking me an earnest question. You may get way more than you expect. Earnest questions are like they do something to me. Truly, I can't explain it. They like pull stuff out of me. Like if you ask me just sort of regularly, you say, oh, all right. But if you ask me an earnest question, I get access to things which I couldn't otherwise access. It's quite fun. And yes, Jill, what you said, for me, it's about everybody. It's about everybody. It's not about me. I'm not here to promote me. I'm here to promote moreness paradigm, an alternative paradigm, different ways of doing things, alternatives. We don't have to get stuck in the usual stuff to do. Life is exciting, it's thrilling,
Yeah.
it's brilliant, it's profound. And I always used to say this. I had retail stores, and my employees, I used to say it regularly. I used to say, "Oh, life is easy," and I would grumble. No, no, no. And they would kind of give me a hard time about saying
Uh-huh.
that. But truly, it is. Once we have the foundations in place, right? We have the fundamentals in place. It makes it so easy. It's not hard. It's not hard. I was getting to with celebrities and independence of being. Yes, I feel not all of them, but the ones that have been around for a while, they have that independence of being. Yes, they've
Yeah.
they've moved on past being hung up about fans and their approval and their attention. Not that they ignore their fans, but this is not what makes them who they are. Yeah, they things like their artistic integrity and what they want to do in their lives, or etc. etc. This is what's important to them. But they've developed that independence of being. Yes.
So true.
It's
Yeah.
a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. I just bring it in because, it's a relativity and a connectivity. All right. Let's get going on what I want to share because I'm very excited. I'm very
Go ahead.
excited.
Go ahead.
You brought your children into it. You brought your children into it last week. And your children, see, when you spoke about your children, there was an earnestness when you shared. There's a deep earnestness. This is important to you. You see now, this is for me. I pay attention. Yeah. Earnestness is like it's the brilliant earnest goodness. Oh, I just love it. You pay attention and you start to see earnest goodness in the world. Your
Mm-hmm.
whole world starts to explode. It's everywhere, but a lot of people hide it, by the way, because in the superiority paradigm, it's not always sought after and delightful. Those who are looking for dominance and all this, they see it as weakness or whatever. So a lot of people hide their goodness. They hide their earnest goodness too. But this is what the way makes the world go round. So you spoke very earnestly about your children. And I said, I want to share a way of impeccability with you. And I'm
Awesome.
going to do this. I'm going to screen share. I think I'm able to.
Sure, bring
Yes,
it
I am.
on.
I am. So I'm going
Absolutely.
to, yes, I am. So what I want to do, I want to set it up a little bit first because I'm going to share the whole program. Now, two things. I mean, and we've got many shows to come. We've got like 20 shows or something to come. And Way of Impeccability is a big program. This is a serious program. This is
This
a
is.
true life change program, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's not all I do. I also have books, and I'm going to be releasing some books, and I want to talk about that. But as we go through Way of Impeccability, all that is going to come into it, and you're going to get to know me as well
Okay.
in this sharing, because the books are all connected to this. I mean, the my main book series, which I'm going to, it's all written, but I haven't published it yet. I'm saving it for the right time to publish. It's founded on Way of Impeccability. Yes, it's a fiction story. It's a fantastic story, but it's all founded on Way of Impeccability. All starts with Way of Impeccability. Bonus project. It is called the Way of Impeccability Self-Expansion Mourners Project. See, it all goes from there. So everything connects back to this. But I want to share it with you, Jill, as we go along.
Sure. Please go ahead.
But
This is great.
with a caveat as well,
Oh,
because you asked and mentioned specifically about your children, and you said about, well, I'm going to paraphrase because it's just a habit that I'm doing is in putting things in my own words, and I'm going to get to that later on. That you shared that education and learning and what they learn, qualities and
yeah.
characteristics and traits. This is
Oh.
important, and this is what Way of Impeccability is. Way of Impeccability
Mm-hmm.
is really deep, profound character training.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's character training, right? And not only training your character, but skills of being as well. Well, we're going to get into all of this, but I'm going to share Way of Impeccability and share it through the connectivity for your children. So I'm adding a little twist onto
Right.
there.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
so Ryan
in.
just shared regularly. Now, two things before we start. I know I'm building this up and I'm keeping an eye on the time. By the way, last week my interview was 3 minutes long to me. That's how long it felt. 3 minutes.
It goes fast. We got to do hour sessions maybe next time. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. I have so much, a half an hour. When I do sessions with participants, it's 2 hours. But
Yeah.
so what I want to share is every anybody listening to this, be aware that don't put anything I do into a box. There's always more, right? So in taking Way of Impeccability, you don't just go and I share the content with you and you read through it and you listen to it because there's audio as well, and that's the end of it. And no, that's not how it is. So I take learning very, very seriously. If we
Yeah.
truly want to learn, we have to
Mm-hmm.
make things our own. You can't
Yeah.
just listen to somebody else and yeah, yeah. You may realize it and
No,
recognize
no.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times, Joe? How many friends do you have that go on the internet and Facebook and just love wisdom memes? Yeah, you
Oh,
probably
yes.
got tons of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
how many of them change because of those wisdom memes? Not many. They
Not
read them,
many.
they love
They
them.
read them, they love them, they share. That's what I was saying. No, it's just in
Yeah,
one ear, out the other, in your eyes, out.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. And now, I don't want to disparage those people. I don't want to be mean to them, but I have friends who have like pages and groups that share wisdom memes, and they see the profoundness. They truly do. They truly recognize the profoundness. But recognition is in the moment. If you don't integrate it, literally incorporate it. Go look up the word incorporate, what it means. Yes, yes, we take it with companies, but it's to make physical. Yes. So when you put it in your body, that's what learning is.
Yeah.
Not when you put it in your mind. In other words, it's like when you download a new app or a new operating system. You download the install file, it sits on your hard drive.
Yeah.
That's the same as
That's the,
recognizing the wisdom meme. You've got to install it before it actually makes a difference, right?
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
that's what, to me, what's important. Now, I have techniques and methods for installing what is important. And this is what I want to say. If somebody comes and does Way of Impeccability, and I'm going to share the overview, but we aren't going to be doing it. I mean, we could if you really want to. That would be really cool,
Yeah.
right? But that would mean a little bit of pre-time because the way it works is I share it, and then the participant goes through it, and they've got to do repeat backs and takeaways and do the tasks and exercises. Now, your next question is going to be, so what's a repeat back and what's a takeaway?
Yeah.
All right. Now, the words themselves tell you kind of what it is. So
Okay.
if I share something, you go and you see the slide. A repeat back is to you write it down, and then when you come on Zoom later, you're going to share with me what, in your words, the slides say. Right. So that's all a repeat back is just saying it. You say, but why do I have to repeat the same thing? Because it's in your words. Now think
Mm.
about that. Think about that. Just try it. Just try it next time you with your children, right? Or for most people, especially do it with your partner. Say something to them and say, "What did I just say? Could you give me a repeat back in your own words? Could you repeat what I said? Not verbatim,
Yeah.
in your own words." You're going to be amazed how few people can do that. You have the skill, likely, Jill, because you're a professional interviewer. So you need to really know what somebody's saying to be able to repeat it back, right? Because that's part of what you do. But most people, this is not something you do. And you're going to be surprised. I mean, you have this classic meme of the husband watching TV and the wife comes and she talks to him and he says, "Oh, you're not listening." "Yes, I am. What did I say?" And he repeats verbatim back to her. Yeah, but if that wife was sharp, she said, no, 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 no. Say what I said in your own words, and then no clue. Now he has not got a clue what she said because he just memorized it, went onto his hard drive. He didn't internalize it, didn't make it real. Yeah. Does this make
Yeah.
sense what I'm saying? So a repeat
Totally.
back is a very profound thing. Now let's get a little bit deeper onto this. There's always more, right? Why is a repeat back so valuable? When you put it into your own words, you start to internalize it. And what is most important, if you are going to change and learn, you start to make it your own. Yeah. When you're
Yeah.
putting it in your own words, you're taking that information and you're making it your own. It goes deep into who you are. So repeat back is really huge. We come to the second important things. You also do takeaways, right? Like when we get to the end of a show, then you think of the entire show, right, Jill? And you say,
Yeah.
"What are my takeaways from here?" You want to share the key points, the takeaways. But when you're learning something deeply, like if I watching a movie, I go to anything, read a book, say, "What am I going to put in my pockets, inside me, in my soul, in my spirit, in my body, in my legs, in my arms, in my feelings? What am I going to take away with me that matters to me, that I want to not lose?" That's what a takeaway is.
Yeah.
What's really important to you? Yes, what matters. Now that's, as a participant, this is your task. What you need to do before we come on Zoom and discuss it, right? So that's what we will do and we'll go through your repeat backs. We go through your takeaways because even though on a takeaway, now I'm really shortcutting this, right? There's quite a lot of time to get to this. I have a whole program on how to take the program. But your takeaways, they don't need to necessarily be connected to the material. Like you mentioned your children, and that may be for me in my brain, something comes up when I was a child. I call those come up takeaways. Share those. I want to hear that because it's always connected. Everything is connected, right? As you
Hmm.
probably know, when you're
Yeah.
interviewing and something happens and you get those little segues, you get those little jumps. They may seem random and irrelevant, but there's always moreness to it, right, Jill?
Yeah. Always moreness. Yes.
There's always moreness. Exactly. There's always moreness. Now, and then there are tasks and exercises, specific tasks and exercises in the program that you're going to have to go and do. And they're usually application based. Like, for instance, one of them would be to, next time you watch a movie, do a takeaway of what really actually doesn't matter how silly the movie was or how irrelevant.
Yeah.
What made a difference to you? What did you take away from it that could change your life? Stuff like that, right? So the main key point that I want to emphasize out of all of this is precisely that emphasis. the repeat packs, the takeaways, the tasks and exercises, and then going over it again on Zoom twice a week for 2 hours. That's typically how this works.
Okay.
Or we do it in groups. It's emphasis.
Okay.
Emphasis literally
Emphasis.
rewires the brain. You know this, yes?
Yes, I do. I do. I do.
Exactly. Now, it's not a common knowledge. And to me, if there's one thing to take away from this interview, this session today, this show today, I don't know, what do we call it? A show, right? I don't know what we call it.
Yeah, it is a show, but it's
It
not a
is a show.
show. It's
It's going to be.
conversation. And I hope people are gaining moreness from this.
Exactly. I say if there's one thing you take away is to be aware of how important emphasis is. Emphasis literally changes your brain nodes and the connections between them. And so when you emphasize something, that node is enlarged, those connections are expanded, more connections, and you connect to more things relevant to it. And also, if it's emphasized enough, it stays that way and you don't forget it, right? I mean, everybody knows where they were on 9/11. What were you doing in 9/11 when that news broke, right?
Yeah.
Most people can tell you exactly to the detail where they were. Or when your first child was born, you can say exactly because of the emphasis, right? You
Yeah.
you can tell me second by second what happened because the brain gets rewired because of all of that profound emphasis. Now, when it comes to learning things, they're not as dramatic and
Nope.
as things like your child being born or whatever, right? But when you can do other things to emphasize it, and all of those, the repeat back, the takeaway, and then later when we go through it on Zoom, and you, the participant, shares what's important to you and you get heard. This is profound emphasis.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
beautiful, is what it is. Oh my
Yeah, so
goodness.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So I wanted to get started on sharing wave impeccability, and since we have a couple of minutes, I'm just going to start. We'll do more on next week, but let me
Absolutely.
screen share and then I'll show what I mean. One, two,
Please
three,
go
four.
ahead.
Get the screen going there. This is why I love Zoom. That you can
I
screen
love
share.
you could see. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
it's really huge. So this is the first slide of Way of Impeccability, and it's in a slide format, not in
Mm-hmm.
a video format, not in a long book format. I
Mm-mm.
specifically put it into a slide format. There's moreness. Why? Because when you're in a video format, I know you can pause it anytime,
Yep.
but do you? No, because we're keen to see what's next. But when
Yeah.
it's in a slide format, you kind of have to absorb everything, and then you have to deliberately move on.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do
And
it.
that makes a difference. Psychologically, that makes a difference. In other words, I'm making a point about nuance. I'm paying attention to nuance, right? So it's a Way of Impeccability life change program. This is cookie tools for deliberate living. Yeah. So, it's just very basic, very simple. I tried to add some moreness to it because, this is part of it, the moreness. All right, here's all the different modules and the different contents. We're going to go module one, intent and appropriateness. And then there's course taking details. And that's the real start, clarity of intent. And that's what I want to do next week. I want to do clarity of intent with you. So I'll just share the next screen. If this is on a video, people can pause.
Yes,
I don't want to read
please.
through them all because it'll take a long time. And we're running out of time. So I want to start this next week. I want to go through this
Sure.
clarity of intent and focus of purpose. I cannot emphasize enough how important this is. Now you're going to say to me, but Sil, you said you want to share this relative to my
Uh-huh.
children. I'm going to make clarity of intent and focus of purpose relevant to your children. You'll see next week. So we're going to
Perfect.
have an ongoingness, right? We're serializing this. We're going to see cliffhangers. The cliffhanger is, how does clarity of an intent and focus of purpose, how can
Okay.
it be connected to a 7 and a 9-year-old? That's your children's ages, you said, yes?
You're such a good listener.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And that's very key. It's very key. For me, this way of impeccability, the program. It's what I always wanted when I was at school. I always wanted to go to like a fancy school, a private school, because I assumed that they would teach you more than what I
Yeah.
taught at the school that I was. I mean, I found out later it's not really any different and just more superiority. But the things I wanted to learn, I never learned at school. Yes, I had to learn them myself the hard way, all on my own, figure it out. As I said in that story, I spent every moment, every second of my life doing this when I was inside
That's so
myself, right?
true, right?
It was very valuable. It was very valuable. And I didn't sort of give up when I got to my 20s, after school. I never lost that dream, that drive for that moreness. It was always there. So this connecting to how it connects to us as children, this is very important, very important. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited. By the way, you said Professional of the Year. Thank you very much
Yes,
for that.
congratulations. What you're doing and impacting so many and helping so many, please. You're more above and beyond
Thank you.
that, but really, just you're
Thank you.
helping so
Thank you.
many.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am keen to hear questions and comments, and you can find me on Facebook. Just put in Sol Sabastian, and also, you go to my group, and I do a live every day on my group at, let's see, 1 o'clock Eastern or 10 Pacific. Now it's Pacific, yeah. So anyway, at 1 p.m. Eastern, and I do a live. We chat, we share. Right now, I'm sharing chapters of the books that I'm about to release called Ask Biella, Questions Answered, and we're reading the individual chapters. So I'm actually releasing two of them. There's book 1 and book 2, because it's a lot. So anyway, you can come and connect, and of course, be here too. I mean, this is a different medium, and I realize people
Yep.
mostly listen. But I'm available, and I'm going to be sharing lots with Jill coming up that I don't typically share. I don't typically share at the program live. So we're going to share this and talk about it with the understanding that I'm also going to be sharing more about me and how I think and books and stories. It all connects. It all connects. So very excited.
Beautiful.
And I
Well,
want to hear more about Jill too. This is not just about me. It's about Jill too.
I
I'm
cannot
serious.
wait to talk to
I
you.
can't do things one-sided, right? I
Oh,
can't.
thank you so much. A pleasure having you here again. Tell us how we can contact you. And yes, next week we're going to get right to sharing that screen and diving into all the work you're doing as a life coach, as a mentor, as an author. There's a lot to you. All right. So tell us the website, how we can find you.
Say again?
Tell us the website, how we could find you.
Oh, Nobelia.org with an E. Nobelia.
And join
Nobelia.
the Facebook page. Tell us.
Yes, that's Sassy Group. Just put in SASI Group and it'll come right up. Yeah. I
Beautiful.
think you can probably just type in the search there, SASI. I abbreviated. It's the self-awareness, self-improvement, self-discovery discussion group. It's a long name. I wanted to get it all in there.
It is.
It's
They're
a
all
discussion
great.
group. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here, for joining us. Next time, looking forward to chatting again next week, right? Same place, same time?
Yes, same place, same time next week. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you
Oh,
so
such a
much. You
joy,
have a
Jill.
great
Such a
day.
joy.
Thank you. All of our listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back with more. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye, 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 bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.